It's a beautiful day in South Central Pennsylvania.
The sun is shining.
The grass is green.
Little dewdrops collect on every single blade of grass.
Overhead, a flying V of Canadian geese head north.
You can hear them now. Honk, honk.
So beautiful, so majestic.
Truly God's country.
And below, two boys sit in a warm car recording a podcast.
This is The Nervous Boys.
When the weather knew my name, I was measured by the rain and found those sudden sunny days so artificial. Good neighbors on the train, mediocre acres frame by frame, the wooden days of love without appraisal. It's a scene complex, running east to west, but nothing's official.
Hello, and welcome to The Nervous Boys, a podcast for nervous children. I'm Nathan Willison.
And I'm Ryan Dennehy. So, Nate, what are we doing? I'm kind of confused. We're sitting in your car. It's about 98 degrees outside, and it's 7 in the morning. Why are we here?
Ryan, we're here because we want to be better people.
Well, that's always something good to strive for, but that I don't see how sitting in your car, while it's this warm out, is gonna do anything to make us better.
Well, Ryan, it is the conduit through which we become better people.
Your car?
My car.
Your car. Oh boy. That's great. What make is your car again?
It is a 2007 Nissan Sentra.
Yes, so everybody, listeners at home, take notes. If you want to become a better person, buy a Nissan Sentra and record a podcast in it. That's how you do it.
Yes, it truly is God's car.
God's car. Ooh, bold statements. What are we actually doing? Let's explain the premise of this.
Ryan and I are naturally very anxious people. We have like this safe little bubble that we kind of enjoy and we relax in, and we don't really venture outside it very often.
No, we're pretty much as milquetoast as you can get. We grew up in the same small town in central Pennsylvania. We weren't exposed to a whole lot of exciting things. We're not suburban. We're sub-rural.
Yes.
So we're farm adjacent, basically. And so what we're going to try to do through this podcast is every week we're going to try to do something new or exciting in our lives, or something that's just a basic human experience that we have yet to actually go and experience, and try to become better people for it.
Yeah, we're just dipping our toes in the kiddie pool before jumping in.
Dipping our toes in the kiddie pool of life. Yes. I like that. It's a nice... We'll put that on a t-shirt, put it on a bumper sticker. There we go. Merchandising. That's what we really need to do. We're not here to make ourselves better people.
We're here to make money.
Yes, because going into the podcast game is how you make money.
Exactly.
What's the premise of this episode?
Basically, the thing that we're trying that's new is making a podcast.
Wow, that sounds really lazy for a first episode.
No, it's because we couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah, we're really trying to just actually go out and do something. Nate and I have a history of starting projects and then
not following through with them.
Not at all. So we decided to do the easiest thing we possibly could, which was make a podcast about podcasting.
Yes. Riveting stuff. Groundbreaking. We're truly changing the game.
Oh, I mean, you might as well call us the next Mark Maron. I mean, really, we're just breaking boundaries in the podcasting game. Speaking of podcasting, what's your history listening to podcasts? Like, what was the first one you ever listened to?
I don't have a very long history listening to podcasts, actually. It's like in the last couple of months I've really started listening to them. The first one that I really started listening to, like, religiously is Dan Carlin's Hardcore History.
I have not listened to that one.
It's a lovely podcast. Every episode's like 3 hours long. It goes real in-depth into history. I am a boring white man, so I find that fun and exciting.
Yes. It depends what you count as a podcast, as a history of listening to podcasts, because I started out was a young child listening to the NPR program on Sundays, A Prairie Home Companion, while it still had Garrison Keillor on it. And I kind of count that as... Because really, podcasts are just, radio shows that are on the internet?
Basically, yeah. I mean, they used to do the same exact thing like 40 years ago.
I mean, yeah, we've really advanced as a people. What do you do when the internet gets made? Let's put the radio on it, but make it somehow hard to use, because there are so many things to listen to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listened to that, and I really loved that. And then I started, my first real exposure, there's a podcast that my brother listens to called Now Playing.
I've also listened to that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a older podcast. He started in 2012, I think, listening to them. And he has not stopped since then. He's donated to them, all of that stuff. So I've listened to a lot of Now Playing over the years, and I'm going to be honest, I was not into podcasts at all until probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. Maybe because it was my brother, and I gotta be angsty and different and try to do new things to differentiate myself from him, but I was not into them for a long time, and then I started... listening to new ones and then getting into them, and I ended up here, adding one more to the ash pile of history.
Yes, we do need to acknowledge that as wonderful as podcasts are, and as wonderful as it is that anybody can get into it, there's also way too goddamn many of them.
There is way too goddamn many of them. You hear it from, interviews from people all the time, the big podcasting magnates, we'll call them. You see interviews with Mark Maron, or you see interviews with all of those classic podcaster people, Jesse Thorne, people who do stuff for NPR, and they all have the same message, that everybody and their brother has a podcast. So I think we should enter a segment now where we try to sell people on why they should listen to the Nervous Boys. Can you even come up with a single reason why they should listen to our young, unauthoritative voices?
Because these unauthoritative voices are damn sexy.
I would not call my voice inherently sexy, Nate, i.e. the voice crack that came in that last phrase that I said.
Ryan, your voice is lovely.
Oh, thank you so much. I try. I've got that nice baritone tone.
Yeah, it's a good voice. But other than that, there's not any reasons why they should listen to this.
No. I actually was thinking, I'm going to try not to sell our podcast to a younger demographic that you might think. We're not very old people. Nate and I are both sophomores in college, and that kind of goes into the theme of trying to experience new things,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we are old souls.
Old souls.
Like on this one podcast I listened to. This is the podcast that really made me want to make a podcast, because it could be better than this one. I believe it's an iHeartRadio podcast called Committed.
Oh, God.
It's about relationships, and I listened to one episode where they delved into this relationship between a former rock star and a psychic. And they just delved into the psychicness, and the interviewer was talking about her baby that she just had, and she had the psychic do a reading for her baby. And the moment that I knew I could do a better job is when the psychic said, "Your baby is an old soul."
No, that's ridiculous. I need to get out there and listen to this now. That sounds like a life-changing experience, not just for the woman and her child, but for us as a listening audience. That really sounds like something that we need to partake of.
Yes.
What I'm going to try to sell this as is to an older demographic. This is how you can experience your days of youth again.
Yes, we need to get into those baby boomer demographics.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're over the age of 45, somewhere 50, 60, we want those octogenarians, those nonagenarians who don't even know how to use the internet. We want them to get this.
Yes.
Because really they're the only people who are going to find this entertaining or relaxing in any way, shape, or form. Because it's just going to be two guys sitting in a warm car. Because again, I cannot stress how warm this car is right now.
If you love Elvis and you think to yourself, we could have won the Vietnam War on a daily basis, this is the podcast for you.
If you're a young person, you get out there, you go to your Arcade Fire concerts, you listen to Billie Eilish. Those are really different musicians. They just popped into my head at the same time.
Get out of here if you listen to those people.
If you're in that Venn diagram of people who are both hardcore Arcade Fire fans and Billie Eilish fans, you need to just get out of the car, leave, just walk right out and just never look back. Because this isn't for you. We need people who can remember when Sinatra was out and about and not dead.
If you, in the back of your mind, keep thinking, Nixon, despite Watergate, wasn't really that bad.
No. Vietnamization, I mean, I think we could have won, but Vietnamization, I mean, he did some good stuff.
Yeah, if you go to the grocery store and you see those Werther's Originals and you're like, I want to, but my budget... then this is the podcast for you.
If you go to your local Sam's Club or Costco and see that 50-pack of toilet paper and think, well...
I'll be needing that.
Yeah. That's great. If you went to your Costco or your local Sam's Club and you bought that 50-pack of toilet paper and then you bought another one and then you bought another one and then you bought another one and you haven't been to your Costco or Sam's Club to get toilet paper in the last 2 decades... This is for you.
Yes, we relate to you. As old souls, we relate to you very much.
Can I just, for a second, get a little off track? I also want to establish rules later for this podcast.
Of course,
But
yes.
get a little incy-beansy, teensy-weensy off track here. Can I talk about how much I hate that whole born in the wrong generation thing?
Yes,
I want to stress to our listening audience, we're joking.
We're joking. We love... baby boomers to whatever's before that. The Greatest Generation.
How could you not remember? They're called the Greatest Generation. They're the only generation that at some point people didn't say, these people, they're not that great.
Yeah, they definitely got the luck of the draw when it came to generations.
Yes, World War II, real luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw. The Great Depression, luck of the draw.
Oh boy, that's just great stuff. What did we get? 9/11.
Yeah, right off the bat, too.
Right off the bat, oh my god. Oh, God.
It's been downhill ever since.
Downhill ever since. But let's establish some rules.
Yes, no making fun of the elderly.
Let's not do that. Second rule, I think what we gotta do, because we got a pad time. We don't have a real solid premise for this when you think about it, really.
No, at the end of the day, this is just about us, really.
It's just about us. I think we gotta follow every single rabbit hole we make to its logical conclusion. No matter how deep or shallow that is, we gotta just get our hand, put that rubber glove on, and reach all the way in there to the bottom.
All the way down. Doesn't matter if it leads to Wonderland.
Doesn't matter.
We're gonna find another rabbit hole eventually.
Another rabbit hole, just hop right in there. That was the hopping sound.
Right down.
Right down. Let's get back to, because that really felt like the end of a rabbit hole to me. We were really struggling there. Let's hop back to the whole podcasting thing. Let's talk about podcasts that inspired us.
Yes. For me, I have mixed feelings about this podcast. This podcast, but it's Harmontown with Dan Harmon. It can be absolutely hilarious at times. He's great at improv, which really inspired a lot of this show, because that's what a lot of this will be as well. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he puts a lot of his personal anxieties and depression into that podcast as well.
And you, as a very anxious, depressed person,
it ain't fun.
It ain't fun. That's what we really love.
Yes.
If you're out there and you're struggling with depression or whatever, we're not making fun of you here. No. We want to stress that. But we will target you as our main demographic, because we'll just make you feel better. If your life's better than 2 milquetoast guys sitting in a, again, hot car recording a podcast, you're doing something right.
Yeah, this podcast ultimately is going to be very positive, I hope.
Oh yeah. It's a beautiful day in central Pennsylvania.
Yeah. It's 2 boys trying new things, trying to be better people.
Exactly. Because life is too short to just sit and listen to podcasts. You gotta go out there and make one of your own.
Yeah.
A podcast being a metaphor for life, please don't make another podcast, because really it's already so saturated, and we're just adding to that.
Yeah. Go outside and do your metaphorical podcast. Whatever that may be for you.
Live out your Emersonian lifestyle. Walk out and into nature and just go... You just made a podcast with your life breath, your life essence.
Your life breath.
Your life breath.
Yeah, just breathe on the world.
For me, other than the Prairie Home Companion, which, again, I'm not saying anything about the quality of Garrison Keillor as a person, or the quality of the show since he left, and I do really enjoy Chris Thile and Live From Here, but I'm talking specifically about the old Garrison Keillor, Lake Wobegon era of a Prairie Home Companion. I really enjoyed that whole thing. It just left me feeling nice and warm and cozy, right in the bosom of my soul. We both also listen to, which everybody listens to, the McElroy family of podcasts.
Yes, my brother, and me.
Yes. By the way, I wanna make a point. We made it almost 15 minutes without mentioning the McElroy. So ring the bell, ding, 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 ding. We really made it there. Oh boy.
It definitely is a wonderful podcast, and they are wonderful comedians that can keep up a level of energy, which I did not think is possible.
No, we're trying to get to that level where we can be that naturally funny, but that's going to be in the process of becoming better people. Don't expect us to start there.
Yes. This is a process, a learning process.
It's going to be a journey. We also decided, because we have to differentiate ourselves from other podcasts,
Yes.
we gotta have a tasty morsel for people to latch on to and listen to that makes us a little bit different than any other podcast that people listen to, like Stop Podcasting Yourself or whatever, where it's just two people bullshitting for X number of minutes. We're going to try to delve into some scripted segments.
Yeah, we're going to try different things. It's an ongoing experiment to see what works.
So basically what we're saying in this long roundabout way, the format of this podcast is that there is no format of this podcast except for the slight little jumping off factor that we're going to try new things occasionally.
Real exciting stuff.
I know. We're going to walk in today. I tried avocado toast. It was okay. There we go. That's the whole podcast right there.
Podcast done.
We got a podcast done right there. Oh boy. It's exciting stuff for us.
But sometimes we'll try, like, exciting things, too.
We're looking into later out trying fencing to see what that's like. We're going to try different things with writing and music, right?
Yeah, we're going to maybe try to learn some instruments.
Yeah, we're going to try exercise, which is so... Yeah, we...
My weak spaghetti arms are going to be real sore after that one.
Yeah, let's stop for a second. Let's talk about our let's call it, at the very least, rocky relationship with exercise.
We're not very athletic men.
No.
We're trying our best.
Let's paint a picture of the type of people we are.
Yes, I will describe you right now.
Describe me, please.
Ryan is a sinewy little lad. He's got that strong Irish nose, little boy ears. He's like got a little bit of muscle, but it's just like a little baby bird coming out of an egg. It's just kind of there. It's not fully emerged yet.
Yeah, wow, that was the shittiest ASMR I think I've ever heard. I feel deeply uncomfortable because the listeners can't hear this, but he made eye contact with me the whole time he did that. Now I'm going to describe you, Nate.
Okay, please do. Go ahead.
Nate was in marching band. That's it. That's
all
it.
you need.
That's all you need. No, Nate and I are both very similarly built. We're average height boys, pasty white. We both are not the most athletic people, so we're gonna try that stuff. We're just gonna get out there and experience what this great big world has to offer for us. It's just real great stuff, you know.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored in part by Cat Razors. Razors for cats. They sent us free samples. How is your cat razor working?
My cat razor is working wonderfully. My cat has never been so smooth.
Wonderful. See, I don't have access to a cat, so I went and stole the local stray, and I used it on him, and boy howdy, he is as smooth as anything I have ever felt in my life. I think that it's a great product, and I think you should go out and buy them. They're sold at your local Walgreens.
I know. If you haven't ever shaved a cat, you've been missing out on life.
You haven't lived.
This episode is brought to you by Boy Meal. Meals for your boy.
Now, tell me about Boy Meal, Nate.
Boy Meals, they come in a lovely handcrafted can. Just crack that can open, give it to your boy, he slurps it down, and he gets nutrients, not only for his growing body, but his soul.
That's wonderful.
I know, it's truly beautiful.
Yeah. Now, they sent us free samples, like a lot of companies do, and we don't have children to give, so we ate it ourselves.
I know, and it was not only a healthy experience, but almost a spiritual one.
It changed my life.
I feel like I know God now.
I saw God. I did.
I know. I saw him at the bottom of a can of boy meal.
That's wonderful.
Buy boy meal today.
See God.
This episode is brought to you by Husk Musk, the new scent by the Italian scent otter Giovanni.
Now, you came into the car today before we recorded this, and you had a distinct odor about you.
Let me explain what Husk Musk is all about. It's short for human musk. It seeks to capture the scent of being human in all its forms. Like today, I'm grooving with the scent of sweaty.
They also have scents for other experiences, too. Depressed office worker, sweaty construction worker. It's different than their sweaty line. It's just a little different, but it's noticeable.
It is noticeable. It's very subtle, but it's still distinct at the same time. Tomorrow, I'm excited to style the new scent that just came out called Librarian Having an Existential Crisis.
My favorite one, and the one that I use every day, is Alcoholic Single Father. That's really the one that I think speaks to me as a person.
And it pairs very well with child that's really afraid their parents are going to have a divorce.
The one is for the morning, and the other is for the evening.
When you go out on the town.
Yeah. It's really been up in my game with the ladies.
It really has. They can smell it a mile away.
Mm-hmm. And some call it pity. I call it love. They come over and they talk to me.
I know, it's really done so much for your dating life.
I know, it's great. It's great. You should go out there and you should buy Husk Musk.
Husk Musk by Giovanni.
So I want to talk a little bit about artistic expression and our endeavors in the past with that realm of the human experience.
Yeah, we've had a lot of endeavors, very few of them successful.
I would say probably the vast majority I would count as failures, in fact.
Ryan, we're idea men. We have a lot of ideas swimming around in our noggin. Just, we're not very good at carrying them out.
Yeah, we lack the follow-through.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Do we ever?
Nate he's a journalism major because apparently he hates himself. So
Yes, I want to be poor forever.
He's getting out there and he's trying to do something artistic with his life. And I'm a history major and a political science major because apparently I hate myself as well. So in my area, I don't have a lot of artistic expression, but when we were still in high school, we did a few things.
Yeah, we teamed up. We found each other in sophomore year.
Yeah, we tried to... We were getting into filmmaking and stuff like that, and it didn't end up panning out ever that we would actually carry out things for an extended period of time or make them actually good.
Yeah, we got into film criticism for a little bit.
Because we are qualified for
Yes.
that. I think that's part of the reason why we have a show now where it's about us. It's actually about us knowing nothing.
Yes, because we kind of realized with film criticism that we were, for the most part, talking out of our ass.
I'm leaving that in. This is a raw, genuine conversation here. And we're still talking out of our ass. We're just self-aware.
Yes, all our film criticism stuff, we kind of pretended that we knew what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. We knew a base level of knowledge. We don't have that with many things. Again, as going out there and experiencing new things.
But we made a couple videos about film, and some of them were good, some of them were not.
The majority were not.
The majority were not. And, then that kind of ended just because it took up a lot of time, and we weren't super happy with it.
No. And as we're getting older and stuff, we go to different colleges, we don't see each other that much, so we made like the McElroys again and tried to do something that we could stay in contact with each other.
Yeah, like making a podcast is far easier than making videos.
So basically what we're saying is we're doing this completely out of laziness.
Yes, essentially, yeah.
No, but
Ryan, we do have to talk about our main effort of artistic expression, our ghost hunting show.
Oh my god. Okay, so there was a time in our life when we thought a parody ghost hunting show would be a good idea, and we called it...
I don't want to say the name.
We called it Paranormal
No.
Ghost Chasers for a while, to hide the real name, which was Paranormal Dick Punchers, which we thought was hilarious.
Yes, our 16-year-old brains thought that was the funniest thing.
I still think it's probably the best thing we've ever done, and by
Yes.
best I mean the worst.
Yes, basically the premise was we were a bunch of college dropouts that were forming a ghost hunting show, and we didn't know what we were talking about. But our idea of ghost hunting was actually coming in with like super soakers filled with holy water and like weapons and literally beating the ghost to ghost's death.
And that just to us seemed like the funniest thing in the world. So we got our dear friend Olivia, and we had her pretend to be a psychic as a character in it, and I was just a raunchy, all out there, crazy dude.
Yeah, and I was the guy that was like really into paranormal stuff.
And I was the skeptic, and it was just bad.
It was just bad. We could have done better.
We could have done better. That's how most of our artistic endeavors worked out. There was a starting bit of it that was really good, and it was like an advertisement for our ghost hunting service.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll do it again.
Mhm.
It is our what's that director that made the Don Quixote film?
Terry Gilliam.
It is our Terry Gilliam's Don Quixote. We'll keep trying, and it'll almost never happen. But one day, maybe we'll do it.
Yeah, it's weird to me because in all of our endeavors, we've had stuff that's really good and really bad. Like, I'd say Paranormal Dick Punchers was probably one of the worst things we've ever done, but it also had inside of it one of the best things we've ever done.
did,
Yeah.
But like that's kind of the whole struggle with artistic expression is you just got to keep trying, and a lot of it's going to be really bad, and you just got to keep going.
Mhm.
Try new things.
And before we started this podcast, we know that there's going to be an audience of at least one person because, again, our friend Olivia keeps saying that we should do this. So if you're listening out there, this is for you. This is just for you because you're probably the only one who's going to listen to it.
Another part of the ghost show is that we filmed it over the course of a couple hours, rapid fire one night, and that night was damn ass hot.
It was in the middle of February, too.
No, it was like it was
It was
in August.
February. I
It was
thought
in
it was...
August.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. It was really hot, and as part of my character, I wanted to wear like a black coat, like all those like stereotypical ghost shows, and I was baking.
I am not kidding, I wore a windbreaker with a polo with the collar popped out of it. Because I thought that was an interesting character choice.
Yes.
God, I don't think we have the best artistic eye.
No, we don't.
I mean, example A, we're doing a podcast.
Exactly.
But, yeah, that was just a bad idea.
It was a good idea. I stand by that.
You stand by that?
I stand by the ghost show. We're making a ghost show later, Ryan.
That's what we're going to do. Is it going to be a ghost... This is now a ghost podcast.
Write in with your ghostly experiences. We want to hear them.
Yes.
We want to prove that ghosts are a bunch of bullshit.
Yes. How will you write in? We're not sure. After the first episode, we're going to see if we can set up a tweeter or not.
Send us your psychic messages along the psychic airwaves.
Yes, we will get them and we will internalize them while we're eating boy meal.
Another benefit of boy meal is it gives you psychic abilities.
Exactly. Another part of artistic expression that we're going to try is with this, but we talked about earlier trying to do a scripted segment. Sometime in this episode, editor Ryan, take note, sometime we're going to have a scripted segment after this, probably near the end of the episode, where we just have a little sketch we wrote, and
Yeah, just little fun stuff, just like we're flexing our little writing muscles, our little baby writing muscles. They're not really developed yet.
Yeah, they're just a little flabby,
We need to hit the gym a little bit.
But maybe eventually we'll get something that's actually funny out there.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to make ourselves better people. Although after recording this whole episode, we're now a good bit into it, a good solid length of time into it. I would say that making a podcast is probably not part of making ourselves better people. Because,
It probably makes us worse people.
like, how many podcasts are out there?
Yeah.
It's just too many.
Also, it's a podcast all about ourselves.
Who wouldn't be interested in us? We're two straight white men from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Yes, we're just some white wasps up here. Oh wait, you're Catholic. Never mind.
Yeah, not a wasp.
Yeah, he's a Catholic. Okay.
I'm a wask.
He's a wasp. We got a wasp and a wask here, and no one wants to hear more about life experience than people who have none. We're young, too. We literally have no life experience. We're like the shitty Ono, Ross, and Carrie. You know what that podcast is?
I've never heard that.
It's another Max Fun podcast, because I hear those ads all the time listening to My Brother, and Me and stuff, where they go out and they try to do interesting new things, too. But theirs are actually interesting. They, like, join cults. And they
I want to do that.
try breast enlargement and stuff.
I want to do that.
Okay, next week we're going to try breast enlargement. We're going to report back to you.
We're going to get breast enlargements at a cult. If we pray, our breasts will grow.
I think, no. New goal for the podcast.
We're going to start a cult.
We're going to start a cult.
A breast enlargement cult.
A breast enlargement cult for men. For men. Women have freedom with their bodies. Men, you no longer do.
Yes.
You have to get breast implants.
We got to pray to Bagelgatha.
Bagelgatha?
Bagelgatha. If you pray to him, he will bless you with large bosoms.
This podcast took a little bit of a sexual turn that I'm not entirely comfortable
It's
with.
large male bosoms, thank you very much. Nothing sexual about that.
I don't know. I'm all about body positivity. Someone out there, I think we just made some pornography, really. This is great. This is great. This energy we've created.
Yes, it's exciting.
It's solid. It's solid. I think this is a really, really great thing we're doing, you
Yes.
know?
Every week we're going to pray to Bagelgatha.
And you should too. I want you to
should
write
too.
in through the psychic airwaves, and then eventually a tweeter or whatever, and tell us what your personal experiences with praying to Bagelgatha.
Here's what you do. To really get on the Bagelgatha psychic airwaves, you need to write down a message, fold it up into a tiny, tiny little fold, eat it, and then think about it, and then we'll get it. It'll come through our mouths, and we'll
You gotta
pop it
listen
up.
to the entirety of the album Purple Rain after you eat it.
Yes.
And you need to eat a club sandwich from your local Isaac's.
Yes, and at least 2 pickles.
2 pickles. Only 2. You have to practice restraint with Bagelgatha.
Yeah.
You have to practice restraint. You have to go and when they give you that little pickle dish, that delicious pickle dish at Isaac's, you gotta eat 2 pickles.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Bagelgatha is the god of self-restraint and large male breasts.
Really specific. Lovecraft was really,
I know.
really poignant with that whole thing. He's got a specificity. That's the word I'm looking
Yes, he
for.
does. It makes everything more realistic, you know?
Nothing's more realistic than H.P. Lovecraft's view on the world. It's just a real open, broad world view.
Okay, we gotta stop this melting. It's a beautiful day for a cookout, Jim.
Oh, it sure is, Bill. Thanks for having us over today. The kids look like they're having fun over there.
Yeah, I'm so glad to see him having a good time. They seem to be getting along really well.
It's also nice to have a bit of a break from them, too.
Yeah, they can be a handful sometimes. But you gotta love them.
Of course. Andrew and Marie are wonderful. They take a lot out of me. And Marie just started drawing, and she wants to show me every single picture she draws, and she has to watch me put them up on the refrigerator, or she throws a hissy fit. It's exhausting.
Yeah, that would get old after like the 20th time.
And Andrew just plays video games every chance he gets. If I turn around, he starts playing the damn thing again. I even unplugged the TV. He's found out how to plug it back in.
Oh, God, that would drive me insane after a while.
How's your boy doing?
Oh, fine. Randy's a good kid. He's kind of shy, and he's getting to that age where he's starting to act out a little bit.
Yeah, believe you me, I got it. Andrew's beginning to get like that too.
Yeah, it's just a natural thing. He's just spending more time in his room. He doesn't want to play catch with me anymore. He's stuffing birds.
Stuffing birds?
Yeah, he's been trying out some new hobbies.
Like taxidermy?
Sort of.
What does that mean?
I mean, he likes to get some dead birds, and he takes out the inside, he scoops them out with a spoon, and he fills them with sawdust and whatever, and stitches them back up. As long as he doesn't keep the insides in the bathtub anymore, I'm happy with it.
And where does he get the birds?
I'm not really sure, places you get birds, I suppose.
And you're fine with it? With your 12-year-old son, cutting up dead birds?
I don't want to be a helicopter parent, Kids should be able to explore new things, whether that be stuffing birds or reading about pagan rituals. I don't want to block new experiences from the kid.
I don't know about that.
Kids just get a little rebellious at this age, and they want to find something that their parents aren't into. It's like stuffing birds, It's a little sad. The hugs stop, and he stops calling you dad, and he starts referring to you as a heathen. But it's the way it is, Don't tell me your kids don't do anything that annoys you.
Marie doesn't flush the toilet sometimes, but
Oh, God, that's so gross. You gotta make sure she doesn't make that a habit.
Bill, I don't know. I don't know if you can compare these things.
I think kids are the same, generally. Don't tell me Andrew isn't interested in drawing elder gods, like Yog-Sothoth.
Yogs? Elder gods? What?
Kids, stay out of the street. Come on. Maybe you just haven't been paying enough attention. You do have to be aware about what your kids are up to. You can't have them hanging out with the wrong people, getting involved with rappers and whatnot, In fact, Randy gave me a note this morning asking if I wanted to participate, and it really warmed my heart that he wants me to be involved in what he's interested in.
But participate in what? What, a ritual?
Yeah, I think, I'm excited, though.
God. Andrew never wants to do anything with me. That's really good, Bill.
Yeah, don't worry, bud. He'll come around. You'll be cutting open birds and a pentagram with your boy in no time. Or whatever he's into.
I think he's into anime?
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. You have your work cut out for you with that kid. You gotta slap the sense into him.
I'm sorry if the audio quality is differently. It's a little bit more echoey in here right now.
Yeah, just a bit.
I want to explain what just happened. So, we were sitting in the warm car, and we got so excessively uncomfortable from the amount of sweat that was collecting on ourselves.
We were going to die.
We were going to die. The sweat was so much that our hands were pruny, so really leaning into that husk musk.
It does coat my car with a nice sweaty smell.
It's wonderful. It really is wonderful.
It really is wonderful. Support the podcast.
So now let's talk about the janky setup we have in here. We're sitting in my first floor bathroom.
Yes, it's a tiny, tiny bathroom. I'm sitting on a toilet.
And I'm sitting on a stool right now. Probably a 4-foot by 4-foot room.
Yeah, it's real cozy.
Real cozy. I feel really close to Nate right now.
I do. I'm staring into Ryan's eyes. He's right across from me. I'm uncomfortable.
Well, this was my wish. I prayed to Begelgatha? I can't remember what our god's name was.
Begelgatha. Get it right.
Begelgatha, and I wrote my message on a piece of paper. I ate it, and I listened to Purple Rain, ate a club sandwich and 2 pickles, and this was my dream.
Yes.
And it's happened.
It's happened because you prayed to Begelgatha.
I also have massive man breasts now.
And surprising self-control.
Surprising self-control. Yes, I saw those Oreos today, and I only ate one.
Wow.
I think I'm the only person ever to do that.
Thank you, Begelgatha.
Thank you, Begelgatha. Well, this brings us to the end of our first episode of our podcast.
Right now, it's a little sketchy. We'll see.
We'll see. It's pretty terrible, actually. I don't think it was that funny.
I don't know, Ryan, this show is all about self-improvement and, trying new things.
I couldn't have been able to tell from the entire premise of this episode.
No, let me try it again. This podcast is all about, getting better, trying new things, becoming better people, and that'll reflect in this podcast. This first episode, we're just surveying the damage. Right now, we're like a shitty house on an HGTV show. A young, hip couple are surveying this awful house that they're going to make better. The roof is leaking, the foundation's crumbling, there's termites in the walls. But you know what? By the end of this continuing podcast, we're going to be a damn fine house.
Are we really? Well, we're at rock bottom right now, so there's nowhere to go but up. This has been The Nervous Boys. I'm Ryan Dennehy.
I'm Nathan Willison.
Check in next week.
So much for light reading, so much for serious nature. Got a real feeling, got the dead backyard.
Hey there, Ryan here at the end for a little bit of a note. Since we recorded, I have set up a Twitter that you can contact us at. That's at boysnervous, or you can use the hashtag #TheNervousBoys. I don't know why anyone would contact us yet via that, because our podcast is just starting, and it's kind of terrible, but hey, who knows? Also, I forgot to mention that our intro and outro is the song Squirrel Fever by Chris Tufsky. I think that about does it. So, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.